No, no, no. It doesn't work like that. It's planets conjunct the Mrityupada.
Strictly, you don't.
Not planets. Means your enemies are your opposition. I mean, let's say you have somebody that you're competing at the office with. They end up coming down with cancer, and having a battle with cancer. And I mean, it's just like.
And we consider that good fortune.
Hey, but they're going to have suffering. They're going to have, it's good for you. It's so. But now, what happens if it's with the Upapada Lagna?
What if you conjoin Atmakarka?
Atmakarka, it's going to be suffering for your own self. The Charakarka, we talked about that before, and Namah Shivaya is the main remedy for that. Then it's Shiva Sadakshari mantra. It has a different effect. Then it's 3, 6, and where's the deity sit? In the 9th house. So it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more bhakti based, and it takes the 3rd and 6th house, which give Dhimanta yoga. So it's about learning, it's about strengthening your intellect and focusing it on the divine. The deity sits in the 9th house. So it's a whole different energy. Now, in the Shiva Purana, let's see if I can remember correctly, it's Krishna that taught the Shiva Panchakshari.
No.
Shiva taught the Panchakshari.
Krishna taught the Shadakshari.
Krishna taught the Shadakshari, and Shiva taught the Panchakshari. So Krishna recommended, say it again, Krishna recommended the Shadakshari. So according to Krishna, Krishna recommended the increasing the D and taking the mind towards the divine in the 9th house. Now when Shiva taught, he taught it as the Panchakshari mantra for removing poisons and problems in your life. So that gives us an understanding of when we want to use which of those as remedies.
In both cases, the deity sits in 9th house though.
No. With Panchakshari, it sits in the 8th.
159, right?
It's 2, 5, 8, and 3, 6, 9.
Panchakshari was Namah Shivaya separate or?
Namah Shivaya, it's 2,
2 words that is?
and 5 syllables. So it's 8th house. Yeah.
All right. So is there any place that gives the combinations of the Arudas? A3 with A8, A5.
No, you're supposed to be smart enough to figure it out. I give 2 examples. 2. And from those 2 examples,
Not enough.
nope, from those 2 examples, I'm giving you the concept so that you can understand. If you fully understand everything that I just taught now, you can look at and fully understand every single Arudapada. Because they're simple, if you look at the foundation of what I'm speaking, of the general concept of how to use these, every Arudapada is used with the same conceptualization.
Okay, so for every Arudapada, we can look at the 7th from it, to see the supporters of that Arudapada.
It's the doorway, how the person gets to that.
Okay.
The 7th from the Aruda Lagna, it's how they get their image.
Okay. All right.
The 7th from the A5, it's how they're going to try and find their initiation in spirituality. 7th from the Upapada Lagna is like how they're going about trying to get there. So in this way, yes. So all these, but in some Arudas, because if we look at the Karaka is going to change what the actual, for example, the Mantrapada, it's Karaka's Jupiter. So trines are very important to that. In that way, we take these principles and we apply them relative to the Karaka and the bhava it's coming from. And
So trines to Mantrapada more than 7th from Mantrapada.
exactly. But 7th from will have its effect. But, we have to take all the general factors into account.
How come Sanjay said that in one of the lectures then that the planets that are in the 7th from Anaruda are, what's the opposition? Like he gave some...
The thing is, it's the doorway. So, and as I said, the doorway, Mark Hylov walks in.
So is it kind of like maybe that those planets are the opposition to your doorway?
They might let you through, they might not let you through. They're how you're going to try and get there. Now, somebody might have Rahu opposite their Mrityupada. Now, they might go and try and do all kinds of left-handed, dirty spiritual practices to try and get some realization. Will Rahu let them through and have a realization? If they get really lucky, Rahu will let them through. But it's definitely hard for him to let them through. Now, the whole concept of the whole left-handed thing is because Ketu is with the Mrityupada. So if they get through, they really get through. But most likely they won't get through, because Rahu is not going to easily let them through. So that planet there, if it lets them through, then they'll go through. So the big thing is if Mercury's there. Like I think, we look at that 7th house and we kind of have to do things to make those planets happy. Sometimes we have to do what those planets are. If Venus is there, maybe we have to go act or wear nicer clothing. And then she'll let us through the door. So it's a block, but it's also that it's showing how we're going to get to that, how that Aruda is going to rise. So it makes sense. Okay? Yeah? Good. Okay. So when an Arudapada is, so my two examples are just the Mrityupada conjunct the Upapada, and it shows suffering in marriage. Upapada, or the Gurupada conjunct the Mrityupada, shows problems with gurus. From there, I hope you can, just extrapolate all the others, yeah. And when you understand what all the other Arudapadas represent, then it'll be no problem. And my book will be out one of these years. If Lakshmi keeps giving me a different house to work on every year, then it won't be too long.
You will accept down payments toward that book?
It's all about time, when the time comes, to be able to write it. It's about time, when to...
Carrot in front of the house, dangling that carrot in front of the job bell.
Big thing is it's not paying the bills writing it, so I have to go out and work, and then I come home and, where's the time to actually put it together? Because this is a lot of research, there's a lot of cryptic sayings about Mrityupada, but then until I see 20 charts that are quite, like, with this, I really want to see, I have a hypothesis that if the Lord of the Mrityupada is exalted, the person gets a lot of inheritance. If the Lord of the Mrityupada is debilitated, they get no inheritance. Or if it's afflicted. Now that's a great hypothesis. I got to get together 20 charts of 10 people that got no inheritance and 10 people that got really big inheritances and compare them. And that's a lot of work.
Well,
Takes a lot of time.
If you
So
let us know what kind of charts you need, it can help speed up your process.
It's all, I do on one or two lists, list that kind of stuff. Like with Mrityupada, I listed a few things so I could study the charts. Okay. So Mrityupada shows the